this is especially for people who haven't bought a ukulele yet and are thinking of buying one. So the first thing I want to say is, if you've got a friend who's got one, have a go on theirs, see if you like it. You can always get the same one or something similar. It'll just give you an idea. If not, you can buy it blind. And the thing with ukuleles is they're not expensive. So you can spend between, I would say, if you go on eBay, you can probably get one for £20, and you can go up to as high as you want, because, you know, top level ukuleles are the same as any top level instrument. They're expensive. My recommendation would be, aim to spend, if you're buying a new ukulele, aim to spend between £40 and £80, or £40 and £100, and that will get you a good enough instrument that you won't be quickly put off by the limitations of the instrument itself. When you come below that, when you go to the ones that are maybe £20, certainly if they're new, you're probably looking at something that's a toy, really more of a toy, and that's fine if you've got a 3-year-old who wants to muck about with, and you don't want to spend a lot of money and get something broken. But if you want to play it yourself, or your child wants to play it, it's worth just spending that little bit extra. It doesn't have to break the bank. It doesn't have to break the bank. So I've got 4 ukuleles spread out on the kitchen table here, and we'll just see if we can get a look at them here. So what you can maybe see is there's a slight discrepancy in the size. So on the outside, we have 2 concert-sized ukuleles, and in the middle we have 2 soprano ukuleles. Now the next size up again is a tenor ukulele, and again that is just slightly bigger than the concert ones, but you're still very much, with all 3 of those, you're still very much in the small instrument size. After that you go to a baritone, and a baritone is markedly bigger, and so I probably wouldn't start with a baritone, but we'll talk about why you might choose some of these others. So my personal feeling is that if you're an adult, or if you're buying for a child who's over the age of, say, 10 or 11, I definitely just go for a concert. That would probably be my personal choice. It's just, you can probably just see, in comparison with these 2, it's just slightly longer. And the reason why that's useful is that sometimes we've got adult-sized hands and adult-sized fingers, and so it can just be a little bit more of a squeeze to hold it, and it's a little bit, in some ways, it's a little bit more comfortable to hold, I think, the concert, but that is my personal preference. So it may well be that you actually, if you try them, that actually you prefer the soprano, the smallest one. Now, what I would say is, can you see, so these 2 are very similar. They both got this F-hole design, which is a bit more unusual. So these would be the more usual look with the sound holes, the round sound hole on the front. But these have an F-hole design, and they actually have the sound hole on the side, the main sound hole. So, but what you can probably see between the soprano and the concert is that the body of the concert is bigger. Now, they're still small, but what it will do is it will give a slightly bigger, richer sound than the soprano. So maybe, and again subjective, it will sound a bit better, a bit richer and warmer and louder if you go for a concert rather than a soprano. And similarly, if you went up to the tenor, you'd probably get a slightly richer, warmer sound again. But again, that's all personal preference. And it's kind of like, if you buy a really good soprano ukulele and you compare it to a really cheap tenor ukulele, the soprano, the more expensive instrument is going to sound better. It just is. Okay, so what do we look for? Right, so the first thing is, I'm going to tell you what not to buy. And I'm hoping that you can see the difference between these 3 ukuleles and this little one here. It's got a laminate finish, where these are all, you can see nice wood grain in these, and this one has what they call a solid top. So this has acacia wood, I think it is, top surface, so it's not laminated at all. This one kind of cheap and plasticky. And if we look at the pegs, I don't know how well that comes up, but we'll compare that to one of the others. Let's compare it to this one. Yeah, I don't know how well that comes up, but anyway, looked at in real life, it just looks cheaper. The other thing is, I don't know if you can see these strings. So these have clear transparent strings. These are actually called Ukulele strings. So can you see the label there, Ukulele strings? Now Ukulele strings are standard strings. They're not overly expensive, but they are decent quality strings. These, I would say, are not decent quality strings. And we'll hear the difference in a minute, so I'm going to sit down again and play them. So this instrument, £20, and it's kind of a toy. And so given that if we go to this one, look at this, really rather nice, I think, and you can probably see the difference in quality. This one, £40. So it's only £20 more. So this is £20 and it does work. We'll show you that in a minute. This one, £40, significantly better. This one, this concert, also £40. Nice little instrument. This one was around £100, just over £100. I think maybe in the £120. And so for this one, I would say the jump from these two to this one is not so dramatic, but I can feel it and I can hear the difference myself. As a very first starter, you probably won't. So if you can go to £100, go to £100 and get yourself a nice instrument and think that will last me all my life. If you just think, I just want to get started, these are really nice little instruments. These two, but not this one. Not this one. I would avoid this and anything that looks like this. So if that makes sense, spend a bit of time, if you are buying off online, to just spend a bit of time looking at it. And sometimes these are brightly painted and they look nice and whatever. I'd still be wary of them. And like I say, if you let the cost be your guide, and look at the reviews as you normally would when you're buying anything online. But 40 to £50 will get you really quite a nice instrument. 70 to £100 will get you a really nice instrument. So pretty cheap. So how do they sound? Okay, well this is the Irin. This one was about £40. A nice little instrument. Again, it's got the sound hole on the top, so the sound comes up towards you rather than out towards the audience, but that's quite nice. Doesn't make a big difference. So nice little instrument. Sounds fine. Okay, let's compare it to the other soprano. So that was a soprano ukulele. Here's another soprano. So this is the £20 one. So it works. It doesn't sound as good to me anyway, and in the room, it doesn't feel as nice to play, but it does work. So £20, it's £20. That's good. So let's go to the next one, which is this one. This is a Ferris ukulele. I don't think it's got a name on it, but anyway, that's the brand, a Ferris ukulele. It's got a very nice finish to it. Can you see the little finish on it? Very nice. So the Ferris ukulele. One thing I've noticed, I've only had it a couple of days. It doesn't keep its tuning quite as well as some of the others, so it goes out of tune a little bit, and you have to just keep retuning it. Now that will probably settle down, so I wouldn't let that put me off. It feels quite well made. So it's fine. It's a nice instrument. I have no problem with this one at all. So this one and the Irin, nice little instruments. You can, I don't know if it will come across on the video, but the concert maybe to me has a slightly fuller, richer sound. And then this one is the Stag. It's a solid, what they call a solid top acacia. The thing, when you hear solid top, you used to hear the same with guitars. It means that the wood itself is not laminated. It's proper wood, if you like, on the top. And that will probably over years sort of season, and the sound will warm up, and so the sound of the guitar can actually change for the better, or the ukulele in this case. So this is this one. So again, I don't know if it comes across on the video, but yeah, no, I'm very happy with that instrument. There will be better instruments than this. Like I say, £100 for a musical instrument is pretty cheap. You can probably pay £500 or £1,000 or £2,000. You know, the sky's the limit. But for me, this is every bit good enough. So I'm happy with that. Yeah, that's good. So that's probably what I want to say about ukuleles for now. I hope that's helpful. Like I say, because you're not spending too much money, I think as long as you get something that's half decent in the first place, and then that will enable you to learn and not get in the way of the enjoyment of playing, then, you know, if you get into it and you decide to upgrade in the future, that's fine. You haven't made a huge outlay that you think, oh, I can't, you know, I can't keep buying instruments. Let me tell you, once you start buying instruments, you keep buying instruments. So that would be my recommendation, to spend a minimum of £40 to £60, to look for some of the things that we've talked about. And if you can go to that £70 to £100, if you feel like you can afford that, that will get you really quite a nice instrument, which you probably won't ever need to change. Okay, so hope that's been helpful, and look forward to seeing you again soon.